where the organized labor in Nigeria, the phrase, an injury to one is an injury to all is more pertinent now. Affiliates of the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, and Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, TUC, complied with the directive of the two labor unions to embark on an indefinite nationwide strike. Well, this is due to the alleged failure of the federal government to address issues affecting workers such as the minimum wage, insecurity, corruption, and poor governance, as well as the recent crisis in Imo State, which resulted in the alleged brutalisation of NLC President Ajaero and other members of the labor unions. Meanwhile, the special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, described the decision as an attempt to blackmail the government, and he said the strike action is just unjustifiable and blamed Ajaero for the Imo assault. Babajide, I know I've been hearing some mixed feelings rather, with regards to the NLC's decision to go on a strike. Some are saying it doesn't affect me, so why do this? It will affect the economy. But let's first off have your perspective. What are your thoughts on the decision taken by NLC concerning the injury given to its NLC president, which sparked this strike?
I do not believe that it makes sense to make a whole country suffer because of an individual. Why NLC will go on strike because of it? It shows the kind of people, you know, running the NLC and the TUC now. You can't go on a... Do they even know the meaning of a nationwide strike? Do they know the meaning? The other day, I was watching Frank Kokori, and he was talking about the different phases that you have to go through before a strike of this nature. The need for long, what's it called, notice and all that. But today, NLC can just get up and say they are going on strike. That is their nature now. Using the strike weapon repeatedly will eventually just rubbish the whole essence of strike as the last resort of the labor unions.
But are you
if you are saying now, if you are saying that, because I heard from the speech, corruption, the lack of concern about the welfare of workers, but we know that this government has decided to award, even ahead of the discussion on the minimum wage, they've already made, they've already decided that, okay, workers will earn more. They will give workers some more money.
Only 6 months.
It was part of the decisions that they reached. So if, in spite of this, you are saying, you are talking about welfare of workers, that maybe they are not taking care of workers, then what are you talking about? Some people are even complaining that the money that the president set aside for workers is too much, that it will hurt the economy. I've seen some of those analyses. Workers in the past, labor leaders have suffered for their members in the past. It's not a good thing to beat Ajaero the way he was beaten. I oppose it, and I am not surprised because I know that they could do it in that state. I've said it before that that place that you went to, they can do that kind of thing to you.
So he shouldn't have gone?
No. Okay, what did he go there to do? Let's even clear it. If the union in the state is saying that, look, we have not complained to you, because it's the union that should invite you to say, look, we have crisis here, come and help. When they had issues in Kaduna in those days, remember, with Nasir El-Rufai, the labor union in the state drew the attention of the state, I mean, of the national leadership to what was going on, and they went there. Well, in this case, the governor and the NLC in the state, they are chummy, they are friends. Ajaero went there, and he was beaten up. People get beaten up now, but you cannot then subject the whole country. It's irresponsible to subject the whole country to a nationwide strike because they beat your leader.
Okay, but you know, the issue here is that if this assault could happen to NLC President,
yes,
that means there isn't any respect given to the union. So what then could happen if...
You see, the first big man to be beaten was Abiola, not beaten even as the richest man in our country and friend to the people in government.
But aren't you saying this setting a precedent for others that might likely happen, if at all?
No one is saying what they did is irresponsible. Get me clear, and I've said that from the beginning. I do not want to see Ajaero beaten. It doesn't please me to see him beaten up. After all, he's fighting for workers. But people have interpreted what he did to mean that he's fighting for Labour Party. And some are seeing him as a chieftain of the Labour Party by some of his actions.
Really?
You cannot be Labour leader. Within Labour, there are people who belong to different political tendencies. You can't force everyone in Labour to see reasons, to see things politically as you. And it was justifying it that, yes, Labour Party, or in other countries of the world, Labour has, but that's not the type of Labour Party that they have over there. What is the Labour Party? Labour Party today is made up of a good number of former PDP members who just saw an opportunity to use the Labour Party, use Peter Obi's popularity to win elections. How many of them, without Peter Obi's name, can win an election? After the presidential election, what has been the fate of Labour Party? What was their performance in the governorship election? It's all about Peter Obi now.
Let me put you on hold for now. We need to take some views of some workers with regards to the strike taken by NLC and TUC.
There is an order of court restraining TUC and NLC from going on strike. And I equally am the legal advisor to the Federal Ministry of Labor. So there's an order of court. So I will call on the labor leaders to obey the order of the court.
So I don't see any reason for the strike personally, and I believe it's Joe Ajaero is doing it for his own personal. Yes, you can't hold the country to ransom because you are crippling the economy. You can't do that. You don't. You don't do that. As a leader, you don't, because you fight one person. Your fellow comrades beat you for Imo. You are not taking it personal on the nation. You want to cripple the economy. The economy they are trying to revive, and then you are trying to frustrate their efforts.
So I'm acting on directive. So I used to come before now, but still at home up to 8 o'clock. I called. They said I should come. That everything will be taken care of. If my spirits will obey to that, because what they are fighting for is for our own good. They should sit at home and pending when the issue will be ratified.
Right, let me quickly come to you, Tunde, on this one. You know, we also understand that the government has termed this strike illegal. But how do you think this issue can be resolved between the government and the labor union, considering what's on ground?
Well, I think the essence of we have the kind of system we have in Nigeria. We have the executive, we have the legislation, and we have the judiciary. When there's an interface between either of the two, then the judiciary has to come and intervene. It is so clear, except, of course, Ajaero is being unnecessarily childish. I say childish because you can read the 4 letters of the word. The National Industrial Court described the proposed strike as illegal, and you went ahead to do it. You want to use illegality to get legality. You want to use an illegal way to draw government's attention. A government that has announced an increase of salary for the first 6 months, they said 6 months, which means the 35,000 naira that the government asked them to add to the salary of average worker is subject to review. And in most cases, it could be upward review. And the governance is a continuum. You don't expect that a government that comes in will solve all the problems that labor and every other Nigeria be having. Anyway, let me ask, what is even the, yes, Nigeria is 200 million. What is even the percentage of gainfully employed people of Nigeria? So, and for you, secondly, people are talking about him going to Imo State. You see, it is about maturity. Maturity in the sense that if an elder is carrying an elephant on his head and it's using his leg to search for cricket, You are the president of the Nigeria Labour Congress that has 36 affiliates all over Nigeria. You now choose to reduce yourself to that level, to go to Imo State, to help Congress in Imo that has not invited you to fight for their rights. And the Congress in Imo has not called for an industrial action. Unfortunately, you see, people, that's why I said that as a leader, you should know your limit. You don't reduce yourself. He has reduced himself to the leader because of the affection he has for his state. I know he's from Imo State. And secondly, he has made it abundantly clear that he has preference for Labour Party. But like KJ said, you see, people don't know that we have history. We are not in the kind of politics we are playing is not ideological. You cannot draw a line between the members of the Labour in the National Assembly today and all other political parties. They are same of the same. All of them are collecting SUVs. When one of the Labour parties asked them not to collect, one of them came out and said they were elected by the people and they want to use the car to serve their own people. So that means that there's no difference between all the 360 members of the National Assembly. Yeah. So Ajaero is not fighting an ideological war. It merely elevated a personal grace to national level. And it is unfortunate that the economy that we are all struggling to build, the president has been struggling. We are not making excuse. Yes, everybody can exercise his right, but this is not the time for Nigerians to cripple our economy because you want to satisfy a particular ego. I understand Ajaero that he has tried 2 times to call the national strike. It was ambushed by government. No, they are not smart enough. But I think that he should not elevate his own personal feelings as a person to now call workers all over Nigeria. You can imagine in Abuja, they went to Abuja chasing students out of school. What kind of thing is that? Unfortunately, all these measures is against the commoners that you claim to be fighting for. Yes. If you sit down today and go to and search all those NLC leaders, none of their children is in public school.
All right,
it's terrible.
It's unfortunate.
Well, if you have to give your final thoughts on this matter, how do you think this matter should be resolved, if at all?
I know that
next 15 seconds.
My concern for Ajaero is that it's going to destroy the respect, the regard that people have for Labour. Because past Labour leaders before him were not like this. In the past, he was writing some very strongly worded, abusive press statements. During interviews, he has calmed down. Then this happened. But you cannot, it's part of the sacrifice that he has to make, that he was beaten and he was given a black eye. You cannot push the whole country into a strike because you were beaten. What he needs to do now, he has to reason, end this needless strike, obey the order of the court that says, look, you must not go on strike, because a time will come when Labour will get an order against government and government will refuse to obey. Because you are doing, under Ajaero now, we are seeing Labour refusing to obey the order of the courts, which is bad for our democracy. So what he has to do now, yes, government has said they will meet with Labour. Stop this needless strike immediately. Every time you call a strike, the country loses money, business. Look at what they did at the airports. Many of the airlines lost money. Will Ajaero refund their money? Is it airlines that offended them? And these airlines are not government-owned. And you stop people from flying. Do you know how much money Air Peace lost as a result? When people are grappling with life, you are still making life difficult for them in the name of going on a useless strike. What is the meaning of this? The only joy that I have is that this time around, electricity workers, they didn't short the national grid. Because if you short the national grid, you deserve to go to jail. The law does not permit electricity workers, just like police or army, to go on strike. So now they've come out to say, no, we didn't shut down national grid. I was waiting for them. Because those who shut down national grid in the 80s, they went to jail. That is what the law says. Wow. And the law has not changed. So government too needs to put his foot on the ground. If people will call themselves Labour leaders and go and shut down the national grid, they should have them arrested, locked up, jailed.
All right.
That's what they deserve.